Hello everyone, my name is Angelica and welcome to my channel. New year brings new air dry clay projects. So for today's video I've prepared two DIY home decor ideas made out of air dry clay. And if you are new to this material, I highly recommend checking my other video where I share top tips and tricks on working on this kind of clay. I will leave the link to it up here and also down below. This product is such a good alternative to earth clay. You don't need wheel or kiln. So today I will get a little bit dirty, but it will be definitely worth it. So let me show you what I came up with this time. Like always, I'm using Das Air Dry Clay. This is the brand I always go for as is the most common in the UK. But use any clay available for you as long as it's air dry clay. I take big piece of it and straight away I start rolling it out flat. I'm using rolling pin, which I only use for crafting. My surface is smooth and lacquered, so the clay comes off easily. You can always use parchment paper to protect your worktop. Lifting the flat piece of clay and changing its position also helps with rolling it. I have embroidery hoop which is 20 centimeters in diameter, and this is the shape I want to cut out from the clay. At first I place the hoop on top of the clay and slightly trace the line around it. Then I press harder and cut the shape out. I need to divide this circle in half. Using ruler, I look for its widest point and then mark the middle of that distance. To create one bookmark, I will need 1¼ of the circle. To smooth the edges out, I'm using sponge which I dip in the water. It nicely smooths the edges like a whole surface and getting rid of any imperfections. As I've mentioned before, I need 1¼ of this circle to make one bookend. I have two halves and now I cut in half the third half. I take the first piece and make the cuts along its straight edge. This will help with connecting two pieces of clay together. And to make it even stronger, I'm using slip. It's basically a mixture of clay and water. I always collect all small pieces of clay and leftovers in this container and top it up with water. It never gets dry and works almost like a glue. I take small brush and put the slip along the cut line. Then I take other half of the circle and put it on top of the first one. It's important that two pieces of clay stick together strongly. Using my wooden tool, I go along the connection and make sure they stick together and remove the visible gap. For the inside part, I also add some slip to fill the gaps. I'm looking for the middle point of my construction and from there I make two lines of cuts. Adding some slip and attaching the last part of my first bookend. I again fill all the gaps and smooth it out. For better finish, I dip very soft brush in the water and simply brush the whole surface. I've created two bookends because the clay is quite thin, but in a big piece at the same time, I've placed a straight piece of wood to hold the walls. It also helps to keep the right shape and protect from collapsing while drying. I'm smoothing it all out one more time and then leave in this position till fully dry. Once it's dry, I sand its edges a bit more using sanding block. Hold it well when doing it, as this kind of clay, especially thin like this, is quite fragile. And of course, don't forget to wear the mask as it gets really dusty. Of course, you can paint it in whichever color you like. I'm going with olive green and only paint the edges of each bookend. The rest I leave unpainted. To make it more shiny and water resistant, I recommend using Mod Podge. For my next project, I will be making the curved frame for the round mirror. I take a big piece of clay and knead it between my hands. As I've took few separate pieces of clay, I have to first make sure they are all knit together, and then I start rolling it out flat. Size of this cardboard circle is exactly same as the mirror I'm using for this project. I want the frame to be wider than the actual mirror, so I still have to make the clay slightly bigger. And the best way to visualize the final frame size is this round canvas. It's about 2.5 centimeters wider than the cardboard shape. So I place the round canvas on top of my clay and trace the line around it. Then I cut the shape out. I put my cardboard piece back and really slightly trace the line around it. It's just to show me how much space the mirror takes. And then I found even smaller circle shape and place it on top of the clay. Now you can see the outside edge of the frame, the size of the mirror, and with the smaller circle I created the inside edge of the frame. You will need the space on the mirror to glue the frame to it. That's why the edge of the mirror will be almost exactly in the middle part of the frame width. I place the clay frame gently on the side and start rolling thin and long rolls. Ideally, I wanted to make it as long as the edge is, but my table is too short to do it, so I will make it with two separate pieces. I try to make the roll the same thickness on its whole length. I'm going for more abstract look, so the edge will be curved. At first, I put the roll on top of the circle and make the irregular design. Once I'm happy with the shape, I start cutting out the parts which are sticking out more than the rope. I cut it as close to the edge as I can. Now it's time to connect these two parts together. At first, I make it slightly wet with brush and water. Then, using my wooden tool in the shape of fork, I press the clay down so it almost blends the two parts together. If you are planning to work with air dry clay more often, I recommend getting these tools for clay. They are very affordable and make the whole work much easier. I will leave the link to the ones I'm using in the description box. Once this step is done, I take the slip and fill the gaps. I work on smooth parts at the time, as you want to keep it quite wet for easier movement and modeling. Then I use the soft brush with water and smooth it out. You can also use your fingers. Then I continue the process all the way around. For the outside part, very similar process. First, I make it slightly wet and then squeeze two parts together. Adding some slip, you can see it fills all the gaps, making it more even and smoother. Because it's an outside part, I can also use my other tool to kind of scraping off the excess clay and smoothing it out at the same time. I won't be showing deeply the process of creating the inside edge of this frame, as it was basically the same as the one for the outside. I make the irregular shape out of long piece of clay, cut out the excess clay and then glue two pieces together so they look like one solid piece. Before I leave it to dry, I make sure all parts stick together. I smooth out all the surface and give it the best look I can. Once it's fully dry, I again take my sanding block and sand it slightly down. It might surprise some of you, but this time I'm going for completely different color than I usually choose. I just had the feeling that this mirror frame will look cool in this bright yellow color. Share your thoughts about it in the comment section. I just wanted to create something more funky for a change. After 3 coats of paint, I can finally attach the mirror. First, I mark how much of the frame mirror will cover, and then I spread the hot glue. If you are going to hang this mirror, I would recommend using some stronger glue. I hope you enjoyed today's projects. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumb up and subscribe to my channel for more ideas, and share this video with your friend who is looking for new hobby. Also, let me know in the comment section which project was your favorite, and if you are looking for more air dry clay ideas, I created playlists with all air dry clay projects I created so far on this channel. And for now, thank you so much for watching, your support, and I will see you in my next video.